Okay, talk about the news today, what's going on in the world. BP had to settle, finally got a settlement with the government for for 18 billion, bringing the total to 52 billion. If you don't remember what happened with BP with the well X amount of years ago, they couldn't seal the well. And so, it leaked all this stuff into all the coastlines of Alabama and Florida, and so all the states got a different amount divvied up. Well, the verdict was finally reached. And there's always litigation afterwards, but BP didn't fight it too much. So 18 billion is getting dispersed today. Texas will get some. Florida will get a huge bunch. Louisiana gets the most. And it goes into the state coffers for them to do what they want, whatever their state constitution says. But it was the largest fine ever for an environmental reason. So BP is going to have to pay that. And they can afford it. It's not going to hurt them. In Dallas, murders are climbing. Dallas has historically had a steady drop that's constantly been going down in their murders. And for this last month, they've had almost a murder a day. And they don't know why. Don't know why it's happening. Like I said, their trends have been going down and down and down. Fraternity in Oklahoma hired a sensitivity director. I don't know if you remember, but there was a racist chant on a bus that was videotaped with his fraternity was saying racist things. And there was some marches against that, and the fraternity was shut down at that university. And then nationally, they had a big issue at all their other chapters where they've got them in different colleges. So they've hired a diversity director. I think it's just an appeal to say, hey, well, we're doing something about it. Farmers Insurance has to pay $84 million to its customers. Farmers Insurance had overcharged its people. Here's a question. Why would anybody stay with Farmers right now, knowing that in the past 10 years they've been overcharging their customers and had to have a class action lawsuit against them, and now that's been rectified and they get the $84 million's been sent out. So, but here's what Farmers said. We don't admit any fault. We're just saying the $84 million, we'll pay it, but we're not admitting what the state is accusing us of. Another important thing, a 1-year-old died at a truck stop. That's pretty sad. And just touching on kids dying. If you don't read the paper, you don't know this, and if you don't read it nationally or locally, you won't really get a good idea of this, but almost every day in the summertime, someone drowns, locally. A week ago, 3 kids drowned in a pool in Dallas. Last week, a guy drowned in the lake. Actually, 3 people drowned and died in the lakes in North Texas last week. In the last month of reading the Dallas Morning News, there's probably been 8 children that died of drownings. Anyways, kids drown a ridiculous amount of time. Somewhere out there's parents whose little kid is not there anymore. It's really sad. But a 1-year-old died at a truck stop. He ran out of the car to go to the store with his parents at the truck stop, and a big rig hit him. It's really sad. Another bison attack in Yellowstone. It's probably the 4th or 5th that I've read this summer in the paper. People get out and take pictures of the bison, and the bison doesn't like that, and they get too close, and even though they look all cute and fuzzy, they will gore you. They gored an old man about, I want to say a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. They will gore you, and so a couple more people got hurt there. There was a measles death in the United States. That's rare. It's the first time in about 13 years that we've had anyone die of the measles, because the measles have been eradicated if you get the vaccine. But with the vaccine debate that's going on right now, if you're not up to speed on that, there's a big argument, hey, we don't want to vaccinate our kids, hey, we should. Then Disneyland had an outbreak of the measles. This death was not related, by the way. There was an outbreak of the measles from kids that aren't vaccinated. The debate centered on, should parents have to vaccinate their kids to go to public school? And one of the questions brought up was, well, your kids aren't at risk if you've vaccinated them. What do you care that these kids aren't vaccinated? Your kid's vaccinated, you're not going to get it. But it's a little deeper than that. No, we don't want to see an epidemic here. But, despite where you stand on that, it all stemmed from a long time ago. There was a guy who showed that autism was caused by vaccinations. Turned out to be totally false. He had to admit publicly that he lied about all the data. It is not true. But there is that rare case of someone, you know, getting the vaccine and getting hurt by it. I have a relative that had that happen to it. You can have bad reaction. But that you're talking, that's 0.00% of the, you know, 5% of the population. Anyways, so someone died of the measles, first time in a long time. Ribs are 99 cents a pound at Tom Thumb this weekend. That's amazing. Now globally, ISIS, they're trying to, you know, keep their main base from getting assaulted. You know, nobody wants to drop bombs over there. They had their home city is Raqqa, and, you know, should just drop a big old bomb on it, but I'm not going to, because there's this actual city that they took over with citizens. But anyway, this fight for territory in Iraq, the Kurds are doing a good job pushing everybody back, and their fight with ISIL, and we're helping them out. But Egypt is now being attacked by people affiliated with ISIS in the Sinai Peninsula. And Egypt doesn't mess around, man. They sent warplanes and they bombed that area, killed about 100 militants, and full-scale assault over there. Iran's pushing back against some of these nuclear negotiation things. They're saying that the inspections, one of the criteria for Iran, you know, the world is trying to stop Iran from producing nuclear grade for weapons, and Iran's saying it's for peaceful purposes. Well, the world stepped in and said, we're not allowing that to happen. Israel has threatened to take military action, the whole deal. Fast forward to today, there's a deadline that everybody set for coming up with some agreement if Iran is to keep any of their nuclear activity. One of the big sticking points is inspections. The countries that are in this negotiating are saying, look, we need access to inspect these sites, even the military sites. And Iran's saying, we're not giving you an opportunity to spy and look at our military. So this is the sticking point. You know, for this inspection to work, we need to be able to look everywhere at any time. And they're saying no. So I don't think anything's ever going to get done. I think that's going to come to blows. Britain might start bombing ISIS because I don't know if you heard, about a week ago, Islamic terrorist guy went to a beach in Tunisia and he just started shooting at people, killed a bunch of people. A lot of them were British tourists, and so Britain has decided that they want to start doing some bombing runs against ISIS. Another Islamist terrorist group called Boko Haram in Africa, they're hiding out in bushes and whatnot, and then raiding villages and taking women. Stole a bunch of school children not too long ago. That was horrible. Anyways, they raided a mosque, you know, their own religion, quote unquote, and killed 97 people. In business, the Fed says the economy's rebounding. Says it's showing a steady improvement. Also, jobs, you know, the unemployment rate dropped, but they're saying that's not because of how many jobs they've been adding, even though 300,000 jobs were added last month. What they're saying is a lot of people have given up looking, and you know, so they're thinking it's a false positive. Commercial rents are up in North Texas. It's hard to find a commercial property that is vacant. It's at 30-year lows for vacancy. So if you're looking for commercial property in Dallas, in Fort Worth, anywhere the surrounding areas in North Texas, good luck. The rents are the highest that they've ever been, and the vacancies are really, really low. Tesla had its largest quarter sale for sales. They sold 11,500 vehicles in their 3-month single quarter. They've never had that much volume, and they sold 11,500 of them. Also in business, Ford had a software glitch in one of its vehicles, and a couple of its vehicles, their new EcoBoost ones. They had to recall 500-something thousand vehicles for faulty switch software. And so people have to drive their cars and get them back in. Other than that, have a safe 4th of July.